One Punch Man Season 2, Episode 7. So I think I finally hit my breaking point with this season. I've just had a lot of issues with this episode, and it kind of started to be prevalent with me with Episode 5. Before that, I was just trying to stay positive. I was trying to see the good things in this, and I wasn't trying to let its shortcomings make up its entire identity, but unfortunately, it just seems like they don't care anymore, and this episode was really evident of that. So, the vibe that I'm getting from the poor quality of this season is that they kind of had to make it, because I was thinking, like, what's the point of making this? If you're just gonna rush through everything and not really make it look that good and make it really seem like you don't care and just giving it minimal effort, what is the point of making it? And I'm thinking, like, they had to. Like, that is why we are getting One Punch Man Season 2, because they were pretty much forced to. I think this was the deadline for them to get it out, so they were just like, screw it, let's just crap it out, let's just get it out. It doesn't matter. Fit 5 chapters in one episode. Fit 5 chapters in 19 minutes. It doesn't matter, just get it out because we have to. We have shareholders or whoever's controlling all of this. I feel like they were forcing them to make it, because this happens in Hollywood all the time. Like, when we get those movies that are like reboots of things or rehashing of a franchise or something like that, and it's like people will always respond with like, why are they making this movie, or why are they making that series? We don't want this. Nobody wants this. And it's like, well, they probably know that, but they're forced to make those movies and those series because of the politics going into it. Like, they probably only have the contract or the IP or whatever else going into it for a limited amount of time, and if they don't do it by like a certain date, then they're going to lose it. So I think that's what's going on here. They had to make One Punch Man Season 2, and they are just phoning it in here. Like, this, I think this one individual episode covered part of Chapter 66 all the way to like part of Chapter 71, I think. I mean, like I said, in the first 8 minutes, we go through like 3 chapters or something. It's insane what they're trying to do here. And I just can't get behind it anymore. I mean, I really feel bad for the casual One Punch Man fans here. Like, it's easy for me to understand what's going on in this episode because I know One Punch Man, front and back. I've read the manga so many times, read the webcomic. I'm really into One Punch Man, so it's not a problem for me. But for you guys who are casuals, maybe you're even an anime only, I really think you're having a hard time understanding what's going on here because they're just going so fast. They're going from beat to beat. They're not giving you any information on what's going on. They're just like, hey, look at this scene. Here's a scene. Here's a scene. Here's some characters. And look what they're doing. All right, now we're in the next one. Oh, wait, now we're back at the Hero Association. These guys are talking. But wait, what are they talking about? No, wait, forget all that. Now we're in this dojo and Atomic Samurai is talking to these guys. And you're like, wait, we were just back in the city and I saw these guys fighting. No. Now we're talking about politics with the samurais. It's like, it's just frustrating, and it's a shame, because One Punch Man deserved so much better than this. But, let me stop ranting and rambling, and let's get into this review and try to salvage this. Hey guys, real quick, I got this sweet merch store powered by Beautiful Halo. It's got like all these awesome battle anime hoodies, shirts, and other items and stuff like that, and it doesn't look stupid. It's not whack. It's not gonna make you look like a goofy weeb in public. I promise you this. Just look at the designs for yourself. Please check out my merch store. The link is in the description. You can use code MEME to get 5% off. Thanks, guys. So the episode opens up where the previous left off, or after the credits, when we saw Giro and Orochi. These are like the 2 big bads of this season, pretty much the series overall. These are the 2 controlling factors of the Monster Association, and it appears that the big red guy, Orochi, is the overall leader of everything, and Giro is more or less his right-hand man. We also see Metal Knight dangling in front of him. They don't touch on this. We don't know exactly what is going on there, but we do remember that Metal Knight went down into the Monster Association when he attached himself to Elder Centipede. So we're finding out he just got wrecked, and he's just put up as an ornament, more or less. So after that, we find out that Sourface randomly faces Saitama in the tournament, and obviously he loses. I'm glad they at least showed a stat. So after that, we see Garo encountering Watchdog Man. So that's pretty cool. Garo's going after him because, we haven't really seen anything from Watchdog Man. But unfortunately, we don't see anything more from this episode because they are interrupted by a monster. And that's just showing us that, like, monsters are invading. Like, they are still invading. I think it started in Episode 5. It was pretty prevalent in Episode 6. Now we're just seeing, like, it is still happening. The monster invasion is still full-blown, and it seems to be getting worse. So after this, we're introduced to Drive Knight, and this is where, like, one of the big problems for me in this episode started. Like, they just completely rush over Drive Knight. He hardly says anything, hardly does anything, and it's a shame because this is, like, Drive Knight's only time in the series. Other than what we see of him at the S-Class meeting in Season 1 and whatever he says to Genos after the Boros invasion, that's it. So this is the only time we're getting with Drive Knight, and it's just completely brushed over. It's too bad because Drive Knight's storyline here is actually kind of important to the upcoming story and what is going to happen in Season 3. But now that we're seeing it play out like this, you guys probably won't even remember that Drive Knight is a thing. You won't remember what he's doing. It's like, you casual viewers of this episode, can you even tell me, like, what Drive Knight did in this episode other than kill some monsters? Like, what was the point of what he was doing? Well, there's a whole big storyline to it because he's trying to figure out information onto what's going on with the Monster Association. He's trying to figure out where it is. But, you know, we're not really going to find that out unless you read the manga, unfortunately. So one of the redeeming factors of this episode is that we see My Mask in his concert taking out monsters. So of course that is, you know, brushed by instantly. But at least we see it because originally that is a bonus chapter in the manga. Like, not everyone has really seen that. We kind of just it's implied that he took care of whatever monsters that was at the concert, but there was still pretty cool sequences what he is doing with those monsters. Like, he's real goofy, like he's dancing and singing while he's fighting the monsters, but you know, we get none of that, but whatever. So after that, we go to Child Emperor versus Eyesight. This is just brushed over extremely quickly. Like, man, hardly see anything from Child Emperor here. The highlight is that he has the underdog man robot, so that's cool. He has like a personal dog robot superhero guy that can explode. But other than that, that's it. That's all we see from Child Emperor. And then Pig God shows up. So this is the first time, along with Drive Knight, that we're seeing these two S-Class heroes actually in combat. So we're seeing that Pig God is like a big tank, you know, more or less. He can like bust through walls and stuff. And that when Eyesight tried to bite him, or did successfully bite him with like her snake attack thing, the venom didn't really affect him. So he can somehow tank venom. And we saw that he instantly ate Eyesight, the huge snake monster with the chest. Kind of funny. Doesn't really play off too well in this episode. The comedic effect kind of just falls dead. So then it cuts to Chose versus Saitama, and we're getting Chose's backstory. He is just like a crazy supremacist who believes in eugenics. He gets offed by Saitama. Then we go to the 100 Eyes Octopus sequence. So that's that big monster that we saw in the city. And this sequence is rushed over, just like all of the other ones, unfortunately. There's like this really cool introduction to 100 Eyes Octopus in the manga, where we see him like tearing up the cities, but we see like the lower level heroes, like the B-class heroes, like what they're going through while he is devastating the city. And there's this really cool sequence with this one B-class hero by the name of Bone, where he's like trying to help another hero, and there's like these subway cars like rolling over him as he's trying to escape, and that's a really cool moment in the manga. And when I was reading that, I was like, wow, this is going to look really cool when it's animated. But funny enough, they don't even add this part to the episode at all. And like, I understand why, because they had to cut everything short. But man, they just completely removed that whole scene. It's too bad. And they also remove like all of the build up to Flashy Flash even coming into this fight. Like, we're just thrown into this, and it's like, hey, the A-Class heroes are taking on 100 Eyes Octopus. Hey, Death Gatling's there. Oh, do you know who Death Gatling is? Oh, no, because we didn't introduce him? Okay, well, he's just this guy who's there. So then, Flashy Flash shows up, and this is literally the first time we're seeing him in a combat. So this episode is the first time we're seeing Drive Knight, Pig God, Child Emperor, I guess, and Flashy Flash all in the first time making their combat debut. But it's all rushed over like crazy, but at least we're getting to see, you know, Flashy Flash. He's super fast, and he can traverse an octopus as big as that in like within a second, slash up all of its eyes, but couldn't get the job done. Then Tatsumaki shows up, coming off of her, I don't know, encounter with Fubuki and Super S in the previous episode, and she picks up the octopus, turns it into like a basketball, squeezes it dry, and then has like a confrontation with Flashy Flash. It's just showing that Tatsumaki, holds herself in extremely high regard. We already knew that, but she, like, puts down all of the other S-class heroes because, that's just the way that she is, even if it is flashy Flash. So we cut to Atomic Samurai, and he's talking to some other dudes, and this is the Council of Swordsmen. I suppose it's implied that this is like all of the top swordsmen in the world or whatever, and they all get together and they talk and whatnot. And they all want to talk because Atomic Samurai is aware of what's going on with Garo. He's aware that Silverfang is trying to go after him, but he's afraid that Silverfang is going to take it easy on Garo and maybe slip up when he's doing that and not really get the job done. So Atomic Samurai feels that he needs to take it upon himself to get the job done, but he also needs the help of the council to go after Garo. But while we're there, we see that one of them is a bad guy by the name of Harigiri, and he is introducing us to a big element of this series, and that is monster cells. So apparently the Monster Association has invented or fabricated or synthesized the way to become a monster just by eating this weird, gross meatball thing. So when you eat this thing, you transform into a monster and you become significantly stronger. It's not really put on display how much stronger you get in this because they just skipped over all the dialogue, but in the manga, Harigiri says that before he ate the monster cells, the draw of his blade was faster than the speed of sound, or the speed of sound, one of the two. And he says that after he ate monster cells, it became much faster than that. So it's kind of showing you how much stronger he became. But still, nothing compared to Atomic Samurai, who was able to atomic slash him mid-draw of Harigiri's blade. He also gives him the Thanos snap afterwards. That was a nice little touch, but it still didn't save this scene that just doesn't look good. And like when Harigiri becomes a monster, he kind of looks like Goofy. So then we go to the big moment of this episode, and it is Saitama taking on Suiryu in the finals of the Super Fight tournament. And it's not bad. It's kind of cool, I guess. It doesn't look completely terrible, but whatever. So Suiryu in the middle of the fight is giving this like nihilistic speech about, screw having responsibilities and doing stuff like that. I just want to be a cool playboy martial artist guy and just do whatever I want. Isn't that cool? Look, I'm all weird about my stances on this stuff. And of course that bothers Saitama because he holds heroes and people who try to become heroes in very high regard. He respects everyone who tries to be a hero. That's why he likes Moomin Rider so much. And funny enough, real quick, we're seeing what Moomin Rider and Tank Top Master are doing in the hospital. You might even miss it if you're not really paying attention. This is happening during Suiryu's nihilistic speech when he's talking about like people who go after monsters and how they're weaklings and whatnot, and how it's stupid to be a hero if you're weak or whatever he's saying. And just real quick, we see Moomin Rider and Tank Top Master are in the hospital like we saw before. This is after their encounter with Garo, but in the previous episodes it established they were in the hospital and that when the monster invasion started, the monsters did in fact invade that hospital as well. So now we're seeing that, yeah, they are fighting off the monsters too. And while Moomin Rider's not too successful, Tank Top Master Tank Top tackles one of the monsters through the wall of the hospital. Once again, read the manga, please. So then we get the one funny moment of this episode, and after Suiryu does all this stuff, Saitama finally comes to the realization that martial arts are just moves that look cool, but I really like it because Saitama's voice becomes like the serious exposition anime voice, and he's like, oh, well, it appears that martial arts are just moves that look cool. And it's funny because, Saitama doesn't normally talk like that. It's kind of poking fun at the trope of that voice, that I was talking about. But after that, Saitama, goes serious on Suiryu, throws like a wind punch, blows off of his clothes. But then his wig comes off, unfortunately, and he's disqualified because of the whole thing that Garo did where he tried to be the Wolfman in the previous tournament, and that led them to disqualify anyone who is false about their identity or anything like that. So yeah, Saitama loses by disqualification, and Suiryu is the official winner of the Super Fight tournament. But then Suiryu's just like, nah, screw the rules. I just want to fight. And he goes after Saitama full force. And we're seeing how crazy powerful Suiryu truly is. Like, we already knew that he was probably on the S-Class level, the way that he was taking care of A-Class guys, but he is clearly showing it now. Like, the way that he can break that ring in half and kick it up like a skateboard. And the way that he can handle Saitama and whatnot, and how fast he can move. I mean, he's already got like the strength of Tank Top Master at the minimum, along with like martial arts skills that probably rival Hero Hunter Garo. Like, Suiryu is no joke. He's a pretty damn powerful character, but of course, when compared to Saitama, or even going against Saitama, he's just a complete joke because Saitama is the one above all. And we see that on display, like, very quickly when Saitama just hits him with with his butt. They say it's a hip check in the anime, but he's pretty much blasting him with his butt. And Suiryu is done after that. So this is pretty much the conclusion of the Super Fight Tournament. Suiryu wins, but, you know, Saitama loses by disqualification, but still wins, you know, that old chestnut. So after the credits, we're seeing what happened to Genos in the previous episode, and he was, in fact, taken out by that big Goketsu monster from the Monster Association, and we see Goketsu, and he looks pretty damn cool. One of the cooler monsters in the series, in my opinion, and we're going to see what he's all about in the next episode. But right off the bat, it's establishing this guy is disaster-level dragon. So this is the second dragon we're seeing in the season so far. First one being Elder Centipede. So Goketsu is a pretty big deal. And then after that, we see Watchdog Man in a prone attacking stance. So what's he doing? Is he going against monsters? Is he going against somebody else? Well, we're going to find out in the next episode. I would say I can't wait, but I don't really care anymore. I'm just going to watch the episodes and hope for the best. So that's pretty much it for the video today, guys. Let me know what you thought about this episode. Am I being too hard on it? I don't know. How did you feel about it? What do you think Watchdog Man's going to do? What do you think about Goketsu? And if you like the video, please give it a like. I also have a Patreon. It gives you access to a weekly Q&A video that I do in this channel. And if you haven't already, please subscribe as well. Have a great day, everyone. I'll see you in the next one.